What is up, everybody? This is the return of the Petty Eddie podcast. I've been gone for like a month or so. February was a super fast and super busy month. A lot of good things happen. So everyone just needs a break, and it's the off season, so we don't have a whole lot to discuss at all times. So it happened. So I'm back batting leadoff tonight for Network 216. Following me, of course, is the Faithful Dogs podcast with Zach, Tyler, and Jack. They'll get you ready with free agency talk and the NFL Combine, which is happening this week down in Indianapolis. We will also have the dog chug. Actually, no, wait, sorry. The guard. Nope. That's on. Oh, tonight's the Cav chug. You can follow along right after the Cavs and Celtics get done playing. You can join Ross, Andy, and Roger, and they will get you through the post game of that. They'll have Manny Maxwell on of getting down with the Browns, former member of the team. He is a Celtics fan, so someone's going to be talking shit tonight, and it's going to be awesome. So Faithful Dogs podcast at 8. The Cavs chug tonight at 10. So make sure to tune into that. Make sure to subscribe to the Network 216 YouTube channel. We're looking to get to 2,000. We just got over 1,000 recently. Let's get to 2,000 by the end of the spring. Subscribe. Comment along. It's a fun time. I'm getting back into this. I really wasn't going to start with that. I was starting with something else, but I just went with it. So Faithful Dogs 8 p.m. Cavs chug 10 p.m. Tonight. Go Cavs, because I hate the Celtics more than most anything. So I hope Spider Mitchell goes for 55 or something, and just whoop the Celtics ass. That'd be fantastic for me and for everyone involved. Of course, can't go any further without talking about Homage. Homage.com has the best quality of t-shirts on the market. They have so many great designs, so many great concepts. The shirts are fantastic. They're super comfortable, super soft. They wash really well. They don't shrink. They don't do anything like that. Just an overall good shirt. I have one on right now, the Barbershop from WWE, involving Shawn Michaels, Mario Jannetty, the infamous scene from that about 30 years ago or so. A little bit over 30 years. They have all sorts of stuff. WWE, there's a bunch of cool vintage throwback shirts. There's shirts of some of the guys from today. You got the NFL, of course, get your Brown stuff there. Bunch of great Brown shirts, Brown jackets, starter pullover jacket, the starting satin jacket. I wore mine the other day. Fantastic coat. The hoodie, the Browns Elf hoodie, have that too. Wore it with the jacket. So it was super orange, and it was super awesome. Brown stuff. If you want Guardian stuff, spring training is underway. Go get your Guardians gear up for the season with Homage.com. Cavs are in the midst of a playoff run. We'll see where they land seating wise and how far they can go. This team has a high ceiling, so expect them to make a deep run. Maybe the conference championship or the round before conference semis. It should be fun though. So get your Cavs gear. Go Cavs, especially tonight against the Celtics. But Homage.com, check them out. Make sure to check out the Network 216, Network_216 on Twitter. Find different links that we have. We have different sales, or we are able to promote different sales at different times. Today, for example, they have a sale because Ohio turns 220 today. Happy birthday, Ohio. Yes, 220 years old is the state of Ohio. A lot of people who watch this network are from Ohio, and a lot of people that create content for this network are from Ohio. A select few of us are not, but I still love Ohio. Try to visit there once a year. Doesn't always happen. They are giving you 22% off on all Ohio gear. They have a sweet Ohio hoodie that you can see in the Network 216 page. It was tweeted out earlier today. Their shirts, of course. Go find what you like. Get 22% off for the 220th birthday of the state of Ohio. So Homage.com. Again, find links all over at Network_216. Someone tweets out a link at least every day, whether it's from the actual page or the page retweets it. Nick Carnes does it almost every day, every time the Cavs are on. So if you go follow Nick Carnes on Twitter, then you will be able to find one of the links tonight because he will no doubt tweet about it because the Cavs are on. He's very excited, which is awesome, and I'm very excited for the Cavs tonight too. Go Cavs. Homage.com. Check them out. Make sure you get in touch with them because they are great. And yeah, homage.com. Check them out. So there's some things that, transpired in the Browns world and the WWE world that, I'll be touching on. It's WrestleMania season for WWE and it's ramping up. We're like 5 weeks away or something like that. Almost a month. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Browns talk was somewhat slow in February, which is another reason that I was not on. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about from that standpoint. They do have a new special teams coordinator in Bubba Ventrone, replacing Mike Prefer, so that's pretty cool. He has led the Colts to pretty good numbers in special teams, pretty good rankings. So I'm excited to see what that is going to do for the Browns. Of course, we talked about it here before, but Jim Schwartz, new defensive coordinator. Alex Van Pelt now will be the quarterbacks coach. Kevin Stefanski said today is calling plays. All is good. All is good. We also just learned the other day that John Johnson III will be released on March 15th, and that should be a post-June 1 deferral because that'll save them about almost $10 million against the cap. So he'll be released then. If a trade is not happening, I doubt a trade will happen, but you never know in the NFL. He'll be released. And then, it just didn't work out. It really didn't. I was really hyped for this when this happened. I was so hyped because I saw it early on Twitter that Mina Kimes tweeted out that he'd be a perfect fit for Cleveland. And I was like, oh, okay. I looked into him a little more and more than I had already known about. And I was like, oh, wow, he would fit perfectly. Him and Troy Hill came over from the top-ranked Los Angeles Rams secondary. And, everyone's like, oh, hey, they're going to do it in Cleveland. They did not do it in Cleveland. Troy Hill was traded next year during the draft after the Browns took Martin Emerson in the 3rd round. And John Johnson just, didn't work out. A lot of times he lacked effort. He lacked how to be a leader. He calls out his teammates and then goes out and gives his poor effort. That's just not going to cut it. Best of wishes to him. I wish him well. I hope he goes somewhere and balls out. Hopefully it's somewhere in the NFC where we won't really have to see him much. If he wants to do that, maybe he goes back to the Rams on a discount. Who knows? But he's gone. Will be gone here in 2 weeks. And one of the replacements they reported the Browns have their eye on is Bengals safety Jesse Bates. This would be phenomenal. He would be moving from Cincinnati to Cleveland, which is obviously the better option, clearly. Get out of Kentucky and into Ohio finally. Yeah. That'd be cool. He's going to have a lot of suitors. He's going to be one of the most highly sought after free agents from the safety class this year. But that'd be great if we can somehow swing him, upgrade the back half of the defense, where that has been a area that has been lacking for the Browns over the past few years. That'd be cool to get him. There are other options. Greg Newland wrote on Dog Pound Daily, where you can find a lot of my stuff too. Him and Randy and the rest of the crew. He just wrote on safeties that could replace John Johnson. Obviously, Jesse Bates is on there, and you can go read who the other two are. I believe it's a second option. Yeah, option number 2. I would love that as well. So go check that out, dogpounddaily.com. Also on Dog Pound Daily, you can go check out defensive tackles that the Browns have targeted. I wrote the other day. Obviously, the most sought after one is Javon Hargrave. I don't see that actually happening. It could. You never say never in the NFL or in anything really. But I just don't see that one happening. He's the big fish in the big pond of free agency. So he's going to command a high salary. He played an elite level last year, helped the Eagles get to the Super Bowl. That'd be a great fit for the locker room. But I just don't see that one happening. There are a couple other cheaper options in there, or options that maybe could become cheaper depending on situations, contracts voiding and all that stuff. We'll see what happens there. So clearly, the Browns have to address the defensive line. Wasn't very good last year. So, yeah, there's some guys that I wrote about there that can do that. Just check out Dog Pound Daily. Regardless, just have a bookmark, tab, favorite, whatever however you want to call it. Like I said, 3 safeties replace John Johnson. There's post about the rumors of them eyeing Jesse Bates, who is also a third. So replacing a third for a third would be cool. Ranking the top 5 free and defensive tackles as Browns on target. That's what I wrote. 12 players that Jim Schwartz has coached in the past that Browns could pursue. I wrote about the John Johnson experiment ending. You're coming to an end in Cleveland the other day. Josh Gordon has a hilarious response when asked about, return to the Browns, since he is in the XFL. 3 biggest needs for the Browns in the NFL draft. Check it out. A bunch of great people over there. A bunch of great content coming, hopefully, usually daily, mostly daily. February was not even slack. It was just a down month for us. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about Browns-wise. But March should be ramping up. We have free agency coming up. We're going to see new faces on this roster. I'm excited for that. So dogpounddaily.com, check us out. A lot of great content, like I said, every single day. So Kevin Stefanski talked today, press conference down in Indianapolis, and he said that, basically said him and Deshaun Watson are on the same page, and he believes Deshaun Watson's excited for what this offense can and will do this year. And that makes me awfully excited. Like, obviously, I mean, he's not going to come out and say, oh, yeah, we disagree about this and we're not on the same page about this. In fact, he said he feels they're on the same page with everything. So that's a good thing because, obviously you need that connection. And that's that was the reason that Deshaun Watson came here, because of Kevin Stefanski's offense. He wanted to play there. He came out that his team didn't really shop that contract around. He wanted to be with the Browns. His only trepidation was whether or not he wanted to live somewhere where he has never lived before. He obviously chose to do so, and now we're rocking and rolling. Everyone's going to talk about the 6 games last year, and that was 6 games after 700 days off of football, an 11-game suspension in there. I think it's going to be a lot better. He's going to have a full offseason with this team and whoever is around him offensively. Maybe some new faces on offense, maybe some new receivers via trade, free agency, the draft. We'll see. You're still going to have Amari Cooper. You're still going to have Don Peoples-Jones. Still going to have David Njoku. Obviously, Nick Chubb's there. The offensive line's still going to be good. I'm excited to see what this can do, and I'm excited to see what Stefanski can do to get this team back to the playoffs. He finally has an elite quarterback. I know. Again, he had him last year too for 6 games, and the rust was going to be there. Obviously, it was bound to happen. That's just when you take 700 days off anything. When you take any time off anything, there's going to be some rust. There's rust for me on this podcast right now. I stumbled at the beginning, and now it happens. But I expect that to fully change this year, and I'm excited to see what the Browns do defensively. They have, I believe, Elliot from Dog Pound Daily just wrote about 5 starters that the Browns need to replace this year on defense. So we'll see what Jim Schwartz and company can do. We'll see what Andrew Berry can do. Very excited about the future of the Browns. See what is happening. Seeing that they got rid of Joe Woods and Mike Prefer. A lot of people wanted that in season. A lot of people said that they wouldn't do that in season. It would be after the season, no matter how bad it got. And that's what happened. And we all got our wish, and we all have seemingly better coaches now in those positions, better coordinators in those positions. So, it feels good right now. Like I don't feel like the worriness that we usually feel like. Yeah, every offseason is fun for us because that's what it's basically what we have to live for. The offseason, as they usually disappoint us. But I think this year they finally turn around. The biggest goal for them is to make the playoffs. Yeah, the division would be nice. But you have to get into the playoffs, whether it's division or wild card. You have to be one of the best 7 teams in the conference. And that's what the Browns should strive to do. Win more games than they lose. They're obviously not going to go 17-0. But there's no reason this team can't win 10, 11 games and make the playoffs. And then once they make the playoffs, anything can happen. We saw that this year. Anything can happen. The Chargers were beating the hell out of the Jaguars, and then the Jaguars ended up winning. The Chiefs were down 10 in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, or down 10 at some point in the Super Bowl, and yet came back and won. Patrick Mahomes is crazy. But yeah, that anything can happen. They just have to make the playoffs. Nothing else matters but making the playoffs. And obviously, you don't want to go out in the first round, but it happens. But making the playoffs is step 1 of the final turnaround of where this franchise needs to go, where their fans expect them to go. But with Stefanski, back to him for a second, his seat is still not hot. Andrew Berry just came out and said that he's one of the hands that at the head of the helm of all of this. So he's not going anywhere unless of course, they have like a 4-13 season, which I cannot see happening. That the seat's just not hot. It's just not realistic. Starting over every few years with a head coach doesn't make any sense, especially when he just brings in Jim Schwartz, Bubba Ventrone to replace guys that didn't do their jobs that well or didn't get their players to do their jobs that well. Because this also does fall on the players, by the way. It's not just a coaching thing. The players are there too. We always hear about all this talent the Browns have, and the Browns do have quite a bit of talent. They still need to be a complete football team, and that is something they're not right now. It's hopefully something that they're going to fix within the next couple of weeks and over the next couple of months. That's just where it is for Browns talk for me for right now. There's not like I said, it's starting to heat up a little bit. Andrew Berry talked today or yesterday. Kevin Stefanski talked today. They give us enough information without giving us the whole information. They were just in the NFLPA report cards. They ranked in the bottom half of the league. They were 21st overall. And this did stuff like how well their families are treated, and their meals and their travel and their training room and the lockers and all this stuff. So it's something sort of concerned, but they did have the number one ranked like strength and conditioning and stuff. Which is ironic because a lot of their players more often than not get hurt. But so obviously some things to improve on. We can all improve on something every day, no matter what it is that we're doing. All realms of life, we can improve some way, shape, or form. So the Browns are going to do that too, and that's every franchise. I believe the first ranked one was the Vikings, and the last ranked one was the Commanders, which that's not a shock to anyone. Oh, we also found out that the Browns and Eagles will do joint practices again this year during training camp. I'll be writing about that tonight on Dog Pound Daily to give more of my thoughts on it, but I think that's great. I enjoy those joint practices between teams, and I'll explain more on Dog Pound Daily why I like this pairing a lot for them to get together. The Browns also have the Hall of Fame game this year. Joe Thomas going in the Hall. First ballot Hall of Famer, well deserved. Shout out to Joe Thomas. One of everyone's. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, he's one of your favorite players ever. He was really the heart and soul of those teams that just couldn't get it done. He never made the playoffs, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So they will take on the Jets, who have Darrelle Revis, and I can't think of the other dude's name. But yeah, those are the two headliners of that. So it'll be Jets, Browns in Canton, early August for the Hall of Fame game. So that's cool. I think Network 216 is going to try and do a meetup there. So hopefully we can do that. Maybe set something else up beforehand. But yeah, we're definitely trying to meet up there, though. Meet us there. Let's have a beer together. Let's chill. Let's get to know one another. Let's talk Browns in real life. Let's go cheer on the Browns in a preseason game that obviously means nothing. But it's cool that the Browns get this because Joe Thomas is going in. So that'd be awesome. I can't think of much more Browns talk at the moment that is coming. Like I said, Dog Pound Daily. Check out different content every day. The guys after me, Jack, Tyler, and Zach, they're going to get you ready for free agency. They're going to talk about the combine. I'm not much of a combine guy. Like I really haven't ever been much of a combine guy. Like I'll read up on stuff and watch a few things, and then maybe write on it, if I need to or want to. But the combine really isn't much of my thing. Now the reactions after the combine, I like reading into that. So, but the Faithful Dogs podcast, 8 p.m. there will have you covered with that. They'll get everything taken care of that you need to know about from the combine, who to watch for, the Browns can target, who not to target. Maybe some sleepers that guys are like, oh wow, he's we'll see. 8 p.m. we'll see about that. They'll talk more about free agents. There's a bevy of free agents that come into play, and a lot of this is going to have to depend on if Deshaun Watson will restructure his contract. He's still getting all of the money. They would just convert it into a signing bonus and free up a bunch of cap space, which looks like to be the plan. you might do an extension for Amari Cooper because he has no guaranteed money this year. To maybe do that, lower his cap number a little bit. There is some restructuring that will happen. They'll free up some cap space for the Browns. So, but a lot of these free agency moves can't happen without that. And I'm sure that Deshaun Watson will want that. Obviously, he's going to get his money. That's a fully guaranteed contract. But speaking of that, Justine Anderson said earlier today that Lamar Jackson wants nothing less than what Deshaun Watson got, and that's fantastic news for the Browns because either the Ravens are going to have to pay Lamar, just like the Browns paid for Watson, or Lamar Jackson leaves the division and goes elsewhere and hopefully to the NFC, and then we can really root for him because Lamar's a fun guy to watch and root for. But yeah, that's awesome. I love that a lot. It's interesting to see. So we'll see if he gets traded. The Atlanta Falcons make a lot of sense. They have a lot of cap space. The Titans could be in the mix, maybe. But I think the Falcons might be his best destination outside of Baltimore. But we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he is gone. I don't care who he goes to as long as he's in the NFC. He can be in the AFC too, but I'd rather him be in the NFC because I don't want to keep playing him 2 times a year. And I want to root for him a little bit more. So, that's great. So before we get into WrestleMania talk, let my guys tell you about Underdog.
What's up, everybody? We know that daily fantasy never stops, and Network 216 is proud to be a partner with Underdog Fantasy. Very simple to use. All you have to do is go to underdogfantasy.com, and you will just click the sign in button. You'll create an account if you haven't done so already. If you've not created an account, it'll ask you to enter code 216, and they will double your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, live draft lobbies that you get to compete with you and your friends. It's no salary cap like DraftKings and FanDuel. You get to go to a draft lobby, pick the players you want, or you can do daily pick'ems, which give you access to all the NFL and NBA games for you to make your picks every single night. Again, go to underdogfantasy.com or use the Underdog Fantasy app on iOS or Android. Use code 216 to double your first deposit up to $100. Sign up today.
My guy, Tyler, killing it with the ad. Make sure to follow what he says. Underdog Fantasy, go check them out all over social media. Go check them out on their website. Go sign up for an account. Use code 216 and get your first deposit up to $100, totally 100% matched. That's free money. I love free money. I think everyone loves free money. Go take advantage. Underdog Fantasy. So now we move into some WWE talk. It is WrestleMania season, as I said. A lot of cool storylines happening. This is a great time of year. It's WrestleMania season, and on top of that, March Madness is right around the corner. So that's my favorite time of year, mixed in right around the same time of the championship. Usually that same weekend is WrestleMania, and the Final Four and WrestleMania coincide with one another usually. I think it does again this year, maybe not. I forget. Either way, great time of year. I'm excited for the NCAA tournament. Hopefully my Tar Heels can make it. Got to beat Duke Saturday. Got to get a win or two next week in I think it's Greensboro, yeah. But yeah, March Madness, WrestleMania season, great time. Spring training is here. The pitch clock. I have to watch a game with it to see how to determine if I like it or not. I'm not going to just go by a bunch of people complaining. That is weird though that you get a strikeout or you get a strike, or you can get a strikeout for not being in the box in time. There's different rules, so I'll have to watch a spring training game and see how the clock operates and if I like it or not. Hopefully it improves the game. Game times have been down a half hour, so instead of about 3 hours, about 2.5 hours or so, roughly. That's cool to me. I enjoy that. Like, I love baseball, and I always have. I've always watched baseball, but I always find myself falling asleep during baseball games when I'm not there. Live in attendance, you're not going to fall. So there's thousands of fans all over, and there's different things to do and whatnot, and there's beer to be drank. Obviously, hot dogs to be eaten. But watching at home, it is sort of like, okay. Like, it's sometimes a chore. Like, I love it. I'll watch. Like, if there was a game on right now, I'd watch it. But the NBA is king tonight. I'm excited for that to see what happens in baseball. Hopefully my Red Sox can do something this year. We'll have more baseball talk. We'll have more especially Guardians talk as the spring ramps up and we get into the regular season. Just a fun time for that. Just fun time for sports. The NHL playoffs will be coming up, and those are some of my favorites. The NBA playoffs will be coming up here in a couple months. A lot of things happening this time of year is my favorite time, but WrestleMania season takes the cake. Well, March Madness and then WrestleMania season, just because March Madness is so unpredictable. WrestleMania season, we have a fantastic card, looks like so far. Looks like they were ironing out some of the pieces last week, announcing matches and guys issuing challenges and accepting challenges and whatnot. The Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns build has been tremendous. Cody wins the Rumble as everyone expected. And then from Rumble to at the Rumble, Sami Zayn, turned on Roman, then got the hell beat out of him. Then he challenged Roman for the title at Elimination Chamber in Montreal, his hometown, and that was awesome. The crowd was electric all night. One of the best B pay-per-views that WWE does or has done. Every match hit, both chamber matches, Edge and Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. But Roman and Sami had a ton of emotion, and for like 5.5 minutes or so, or 6 minutes or something like that, they just stared at each other, and the crowd was still going nuts. And they got into the match, and of course the Bloodline interfered to help Roman retain, and then afterwards Kevin Owens comes out and stuns everyone and lets Sami give the haluva kick to Roman Reigns. So that was a speed bump. A lot of fans like, oh, they should give the belt to him here. This is the best moment they've had. No, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. If this were to be after WrestleMania and Roman were to retain at WrestleMania, and this were to happen, this scenario were to happen where the two can face off, Sami and Roman, okay, sure. But not when you have the longest reigning champ of the last like 30 years or so, 35 years, whatever it is, over 900 days of shame. No way you have that end the pay-per-view right before WrestleMania. The biggest show in the history of wrestling is WrestleMania, and this one seems to be bigger than ever, already breaking numbers for ticket sales and things like that. You don't have that happen a few weeks prior, just for a feel-good moment, because then everyone's saying, "Oh, we can just lose it back Friday." So what was the point of losing it then? This does seem like it will be Cody Rhodes to win. I am anxious to see if they hold off on that to try to get Roman Reigns to 1,000 days as the champion. I would love that personally. Then maybe Cody can win it at Money in the Bank, which is over in the UK, which is going to be an electric atmosphere, and I can't wait for that either. But yeah, so Sami was like a little speed bump, but not really like, they dressed it great. Cody and him had an interaction the week before. But Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes have been killing it to get the story back to Roman and Cody, and get the focus off Sami, who looks like he's going to be at some point aligned with Kevin Owens, who's still saying, no, you're a prick still. I just want to take down the bloodline, but I'm not helping you. Looks like it'll be those two versus the Usos for the tag titles, which should be awesome. A lot of people said that should main event the first night. I disagree. I think the women should. I think it should be Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, just because Rhea won the Rumble, and you're guaranteed to main event WrestleMania. I know there's a lot of main event matches, but there's only one main event of a show. I think it should be them, and that's no disrespect to the Usos or Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. They've all been tremendous in this, but the ladies should main event the first night. But Cody and Paul Heyman have been brilliant on the mic together. We have yet to see Cody and Roman in the same place, doing promos together, and that changes Friday when both will be on SmackDown. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll see what happens. A couple weeks ago, Cody and Paul Heyman did this wonderful storytelling and used this vehicle of storytelling and took us on this adventure, and then finally got us back and brought us back in and that was great, and that's going to continue. I'm excited to see where this goes. Like I said, I'm excited to see if they put it on Cody at WrestleMania, because that is seemingly the obvious choice, or if they let Roman get to 1,000 days and then let Cody win the next pay-per-view, or that's Backlash, or do it at Money in the Bank. Which, by the way, Money in the Bank, it's way too early for that, but I think Gunther is going to win the Money in the Bank. I think he would make a great champion. He can do it as a heel and, come in and surprise someone and beat them, or he can just say, hey, I'm going to whoop your ass in the ring. So that'd be great. That's way down the road. But I am enjoying this Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns rivalry, even though we have yet to see them interact with each other, which that changes Friday night. So yeah, check that out. SmackDown. This week, Brock Lesnar accepted the challenge from MVP in Almost, where it'll be Brock versus Almost at WrestleMania. This is not what a lot of fans had anticipated for Brock Lesnar. Reportedly, he said no to working with Bray Wyatt, which is why Bobby Lashley is working with him. Brock versus Almost, it's not a match that's like, wow, I can't wait for that. Like, I'd rather it be anyone but Almost. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what these two big dudes can do, see what Lesnar can do against him. And this will see if Almost can sink or swim. You know, if he can make it with Brock on a Mania stage, then he might have somewhat of a future. If not, then, well, excuse me, who knows what's next for him. But it's a different, we're not seeing him versus Roman anymore. It would have been cool to see him versus AJ Styles, but AJ Styles still out with an injury. It would have been cool for him and Seth Rollins to go at it again, but Seth Rollins is going to be with Logan Paul, who will be on Raw this coming Monday to further that, and I'm assuming to cement that match. Brock versus Almost is not going to be long. I don't see it going past 8 minutes. It'll be interesting to see how many times Brock Lesnar can suplex Almost and maybe give him an F5. So it'll be more of like a big man spectacle. And a lot of people are saying that Vince McMahon is the one who booked this, or Triple H. My guy Jamal said in our group chat that for 6 years, fans have bitched about Brock Lesnar being there and having matches with Roman, having these big Mania matches. And this year, it's how can you do Brock like that, putting him with Almost? Well, who knows that Brock didn't want to work with him? Maybe he did. Maybe he wanted this challenge of these two behemoths. Who knows? We'll see, though. I'm excited for this because it's a Brock Lesnar match. I'm excited to see what he can get out of Almost, and we'll see. Then it's Bray and Lashley. This is a unique pairing. They haven't been on screen much together. Friday, Bray had the Firefly Funhouse with Bobby Lashley and making fun of him and stuff. And then this week he appeared doing the Muscle Man dance and had pictures of Lashley on the Titantron. Yeah, it'll be an interesting match. We'll see how this goes. Everyone says that if you work with Bray, you get buried after that, but that's not going to be the case with Bobby Lashley. It'll be interesting to see what other tricks that Bray Wyatt uses to get in Bobby Lashley's head. Bobby Lashley said if anyone disrespects him, he's going to put them out. And so far, that's what he's done. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see the creativity of Bray. I hope we can get it to be where it's more like boom, right at you instead of this slow build. We don't need a slow build for everything. Like when he came back, great. With the White Rabbit stuff and then his feud with LA Knight. We don't need it to be drag on that long. So it's going to have to do for a month, but we need some impact. We need him to attack or do something. It's just fun to watch Bray Wyatt, and hopefully something meaningful comes from this time around. It looks like it'll be Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Finn issued the challenge last week to Edge, who lost the week before for the U.S. title thanks to Finn Balor, and then got, I believe it was 3 coups de grace. So Finn challenged him for that, and rumors are it might be a Hell in a Cell match, and other rumors are that the Demon might be Finn Balor's persona that night. So it could be Demon Balor versus Brood Edge, which would be awesome inside Hell in a Cell. And that's what the Hell in a Cell matches are for. When a rivalry gets so deep that, that's the way for them to get out is to get locked in the cage together. So that's pretty cool. This past Monday on Raw, Becky Lynch and Lita, Hall of Famer Lita, beat Dakota Kai and Io Sky of Damage Control for the tag team titles with the assists from a returning Trish Stratus, who's been, she's been, reported to be there for the past month or so, and for whatever reason it didn't work out, and no one, I guess, was told anything this past week, and she showed up and helped out to, keep Bayley at bay, like what I did there. Yeah, she returned. So I don't know if it's going to be it looks like it might be a 6-woman tag match or maybe some sort of multi-team tag team title match at WrestleMania, because it looked like it was going to be Damage Control versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Maybe it's a triple threat. Maybe we get another team in there, make it a fatal 4-way. Who knows? We'll see. But that was cool seeing Trish Stratus. Lita didn't look the greatest, but maybe she'll get better with time. Who knows? But yeah, WrestleMania season, a great time to be a wrestling fan. I usually try and go back and watch as many WrestleManias as I can leading up to this. I started WrestleMania 4 last week and haven't went back to it, but I do love that one because they do have the tournament for the championship. I've always liked that one. I just like tournaments in wrestling. So I've liked that one for a long time. So yeah, check that out. Peacock, if you have it, go find that. And go find any WrestleMania moment you want from any year. Obviously, you can watch any of them. I'm going to cut this one short tonight. Come back next week and maybe go a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. Who knows? We'll see what we have to talk about next week. But again, homage.com. Make sure you check them out today. You can get 22% off any Ohio gear because of the great state of Ohio's 220th birthday. Again, happy birthday to the state of Ohio. Homage.com. Make sure to check them out. Underdog Fantasy. Make sure to check them out as well. Code at 216 gets your first deposit match up to $100, 100% of that. Make sure to check that out. Homage.com, Underdog Fantasy. Check them both out. Check them both out tonight. Order a shirt. Go sign up. And if you're quick enough now, if you're watching, then you can go and bet on the Cavs and Celtics that are coming up here shortly. After the Cavs and Celtics, of course, we have the Cavs Chug. Normally it's the Dog Chug, but tonight's the Cavs Chug. Big matchup in the Eastern Conference as Ross, Andy, and Roger will be joined by Manny Maxwell to discuss the game and whatever else they get into. Great podcast, one of my favorites. I love their concept. It's like a late night sketch comedy show, and it's awesome. I mean that in every sense. It's great. But before we get to that, 8 p.m. here in about 24-ish minutes, Faithful Dogs podcast with Jack and Tyler and Zach. They're going to talk to you about the free agency and prospects for the Browns to look at there. They're going to talk about the NFL Combine, talk about prospects there to look at, who the Browns could draft, who to stay away from, all that good stuff. They'll list top free agents that are on their wish list, people that they've heard are linked to the Browns. Should be fun. Those three know what they're talking about. They know a lot about the Combine, which is why I'm not big on the Combine, like I said, but they are. I know they are. So they're going to bring it to that. Make sure to check out all the other shows on this network. There are so many. There's the, like I said, the Petty Eddie podcast, the Faithful Dogs podcast, and Dog Chug, tonight's Cavs Chug, all on Wednesday night. You have the Yard Dogs podcast and the Barking Browns podcast on Tuesday. The Scarlet and Gray podcast is on Mondays. I agree, go Cavs when it's time to do it. Just a lot of great stuff, a lot of great content. We have some, I believe it's TikTok that we're going to be expanding into next. Guy just joined the team who is really good at TikTok. I don't really do TikTok, but I will check that out because I heard he does amazing things. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for that. Again, make sure to follow us, network_216 on Twitter. Make sure to find our links all the time for different sales and different promotions from Homage. Anything that we put out content all the time. We try to make this bigger and better every single day. It's a team effort. It's a great team, and I'm proud to be part of this. Follow myself at KingWord15. Hit me up about the Browns. Hit me about any sport-related topic, really. Wrestling, movies or TV shows you watch. Legends of the Hidden Temple. I've been watching that a lot lately, so hit me up about that. Again, homage.com, Underdog Fantasy. Make sure to go check both of them out. And one last time here now it's about 22 minutes. Faithful Dogs podcast with Jack, Tyler, and Zach. Free agency and Combine edition. And then at 10 o'clock after the Cavs and, it probably won't be over. It might be over. Who knows? But at 10 o'clock, it'll be the Cavs Chug tonight. Ross, Roger, Andy will bring you post-game thoughts and analysis from the Cavs and the Celtics. Hopefully it's Cavs. Go Cavs. I agree. Go Cavs. Because every time in here on this show, it's fuck them Celtics. So if you're listening, thank you. Hopefully you tune back next week. Hopefully you tune in to my guys after me. And until then, go Browns.